cool cats, cool dudes, and man of Solomon's sense of balance. Welcome to We All Love Leeds, the show where we discuss our love of Leeds. I have no idea what happened there.
That's pure improv.
Yeah.
It's not scripted, people. It's not scripted.
It's certainly not a good script anyway. How you doing, Ben?
I'm all right, mate, considering. How are you, my friend?
Well, people might be wondering, why are you not on time? Where is Tom and Ben? Where is Tom and Ben?
We was
Tom
debating
and Ben.
some. We was debating some drastic shit. More my personality online, and which brings me to a quick side note. Is it does need saying. If I say any controversial things, people, and go off on a tangent other than football, they should be taken as my views, even though they're probably not really my views. I'm just being 70s. I was born in 78. I'm not woke. I'm not politically correct. But sometimes I go off on tangents. But I would like you to know that they are not Tom's views. They are my views, even though they're probably not my views. So I'd just like to clear that up. So let's get on with the show. How have you been this week, my friend?
I'm not too bad, thank you.
Have you been bored?
The international break, I'm two minds on it. When you're in the international break and you've won a match, I'll sit there and I'm like, I want to get going again. And then yesterday happened and I'm like, can't we just have another international break?
It brings me to a point, right, whereas I've been watching a bit of Leeds content on YouTube through the international break. Some of it's been all right, and then it got to a point where there was a video. I'm not going to name names. Lucky Leeds. I'm not going to name names. Where it was, are our new signings ready yet? And it was just a video for putting the sake of a video out, which is what we don't do, people. And I'm not criticizing. Well, I am, but I don't like to criticize other people and their content. But it was pointless content, and it got me thinking that everybody was. I was biking home yesterday from work about 6 a.m. and it got me thinking. Everybody's been massively confident in the predictions for this game, and I just saw for a brief moment I had this negative thought of what happened yesterday, and it happened, and it got me thinking into the whole depth of it, where I think I've been swallowed in by this mass hysteria of Leeds are favourites for this title, when there's a lot more to it than that, to be honest. A lot more to it than just having on paper the best squad, or what people perceive as the best squad.
I'd love to explore that further, but first of all, I just want to say, I'm not fobbing you off, I promise.
No.
I just want to say hello to Russ Morgan. How you doing? Hello to Conche. What to score your Jets? I can't remember what NFL better did on it, but hopefully that led to me winning.
I checked how we did.
How are you doing, BX Gunner? Good to see you, mate. And Bremner's Ghost is in the house, and Tariq from the wrestling show headed up by Jonesy on YouTube. I forget the name of it. I mean, I'm always in their comment section. It's really rude of me.
We got beat by Mark's shitty team.
You lost to the Minnesota Vikings.
Mark. Yeah, got beat by that dross.
That is dross. But hello, Tariq. How you doing? Of course. Director John. Hello, Director John, the true hero of our show, who puts it all together. And Stefan Herentonio writings. Apparently, there's been a shooting heard near Trump's golf course. They are trying to establish if Melania Troop was in the vicinity and if she has access to firearms. Good to see you, Stefan. How you doing? Russ Morgan with, I'll criticise Emma. Is it a name? Emma Louise Jones? I don't know if I've remembered that. Emma Jones content all the time. She wears too many layers.
I'm not sold on Russ. I'm not sold on her, right? Because she's got a big pair of tits. She's got a face like a melted Wellington, and its accent sucks dick. the Leeds accent, as a Leeds fan, but the Leeds accent on a bird is just so unsexy. It really is.
Stefan, Secret Service shots. Oh, this
And
is
for
a real
those
thing.
for those who don't live in
I thought it was a
Yorkshire,
joke.
probably can't define the difference in Yorkshire accents. And I'm not saying you can or you can't, but I presume that you can't. Whereas when you're from North Yorkshire, you can tell the difference in South Yorkshire to West Yorkshire to East Yorkshire, do you know? Whereas I suppose from anywhere else, it's just Yorkshire.
24-17. But I thought it was a joke, that Stefan. I didn't realise it was a thing that actually happened. No, well, I apologise for that, of course, because I just thought it was a shit joke that I didn't really understand. I read it twice because I was hoping I'd got the punchline, and I didn't. But I tried to be polite about it. You know, like when you don't know what the punchline, but you're like, like in case you just don't want the other person to be upset or think you're being rude.
Oh,
Anyway,
you're laughing. It's really not a joke.
yeah. I just delete this show, John.
Or when
delete
you say when you're not really listening and you're going, yeah, and you're supposed to say no.
Was it Joe Biden in the bushes? Ben asked him out once. That's why it's negative on her.
I wouldn't dare. I'd rather ask you out, John.
It's for real. It's for real. This just happened, Tom. Thank you for letting us know. Probably blanks and a publicity stunt. So that is our conspiracy theorist portion of the show, brought to you by Stefan here, Antonio Ryan, and totally with Emma Jones is a quality presenter. I mean, she is a presenter.
What does she present?
Her knockers, supposedly.
Well, we're going to get banned for this.
Can I
just say, right, Emma Jones aside, going back to Director John, if anything yesterday's result has taught me, right, is no longer am I going to do the monthly predictions through Leeds tinted goggles.
I've never seen her face, to be honest.
Look up a few inch.
Terry did tell me earlier that he was going to be watching this show, and I was like, that's actually really handy, because my exact words were, well, you won't get much leads on this show. It's usually just me shouting at our enemies.
Yeah.
But apparently I was mistaken, because we're talking about shootings and knockers.
Thank God for the fucking Sunday roast.
Yeah. Speaking of which, sorry, Ben, I believe I did cut you off when saying hello to the, like Stefan, like you don't know who Emma Jones is, the presenter for LUTV. And if you type her name into YouTube and then LUTV, and not into YouTube,
XXX after it, you're not going to get any.
Yeah. I don't think he's ever said no to anyone. Anyway, so Ben, I believe I cut you off when you was in the middle of saying something about Leeds United not finishing top.
Yeah, it's just, look, watching all the content and Leeds are favourites, and it gets you on your high horse when you really forget that why the fuck do we put ourselves through this shit every week?
Yeah.
Right? Let's say you've got a film franchise, let's say Lethal Weapon, right? You've watched Lethal Weapon 1, it's all right.
I've never seen Lethal Weapon 1.
Lethal Weapon 2, it's not as good, but it's all right. Lethal Weapon 3 is shit. Lethal Weapon 4 comes out, right? You give it a chance, it's absolutely dog shit. You're not watching Lethal Weapon 5, are you? So why do we do it with the football? Every fucking week. It puts you through something, and you just put yourself through this madness, right? Especially when you're kicking off either Friday night or 12:30 on a Saturday, when it has the potential, right, to just ruin your weekend. But why does football ruin our weekend? Why do we invest so much emotion and energy into it when all it is just a game? I didn't get this pissed off, right, playing the game when I lost, as I do when Leeds get beat. Do you know? And I don't understand why.
It's because, what in my head there? I think Jerry Seinfeld in his stand-up once made a joke about sports teams. He was like, basically a load of men, predominantly men, basically put all their emotions into a piece of clothing. It doesn't matter. It's basically the badge on a piece of clothing, on a shirt and pair of shorts, whatever. And basically, we all give our weekly, our lives or whatever to this piece of clothing. When you distill it down, we basically devote our lives to a t-shirt and shorts.
Well, 11
and
t-shirts, 11 t-shirts running around trying to beat 11 other t-shirts. Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Yeah. Like I can't remember the real
we call us. We like to think, and I dare say this for the people with like 20 IQs. You like to think you've got some sort of intelligence, but this just proves you really haven't.
I consider myself an intelligent person, and I know John's already typing a joke at that. But I still actively went, yeah, Dad, I'll support Leeds United because you were a season ticket holder.
I hope you're watching this, Dad. Fuck you.
Do you know how many times there's been when Leeds have a big loss? I always turn to him and just stare at him as if like this is your fault.
I get this angry knot in my stomach watching it yesterday, and many a million times before this. I get this angry knot, right, where every instinct in me, right, is telling me to smash the house up, right? But thank God there's some sensible brain part of me, right, that's just saying, nah, it's just Leeds.
I mean, we've all considered it, but then you sit there and feel like, for me personally, I'm like, no, it's actually probably a lot better if I don't do that. Are you
a believer in, right, like a curse or the Leeds way, right? Because through many a manager, many a owner, it's just the Leeds way. It's not done normal. It's not done chaos. But you'd think that not all owners are Cellino or Ken Bates or... Yeah, it don't get any easier no matter who it is. It's like Radrizzani, for example, was a little bit of a breath of fresh air, was he not? In the beginning. And now the 49ers, well, they're better than Radrizzani. They're way better than Cellino, way better than Ken Bates. But still, you watch this interview with Angus Kinnear, and there's so much that's just not right.
I found that really interesting, that interview. For anyone who doesn't know, it's on a channel called The Square Ball, where basically, and to give him all the credit in the world, the
he don't have to do that, and I'm not
chief executive,
he's just the face. He's the face for the club.
He's the one that's willing to talk to them.
Yeah,
basically.
But inevitably, right? Look, I get he's a CEO.
Hello, Colin. Welcome.
Technically, he's running the club in England, but even then, decisions are made way above his head and his hands are tied. Archie Gray's going, he can't stop that.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair to him or the club, right? He essentially came out and went, they knew they had to sell 2 players. They needed to sell at least one by a certain deadline. And they really needed to sell 2. They knew Somerville was going to be one of them. Then it got to a stage where the one where they could actually get the most money, the one that made the most sense, which is the problem with this FFP PNS thing, is that basically none of your youth team players are safe, because any of them that can get any kind of money are going to be sold because of the profit that they represent when doing it, right? So obviously Archie Gray is put on the block for this, and he went, it turned out we didn't need to sell Archie. And I've got people like, you read people going, I can't believe it. It's like, yeah, but we didn't know that Brighton were going to be stupid enough to pay 40 million for a player that underperformed his XG in the Championship.
Oh, I loved Georgie. I loved watching him. I loved his character. He was a lovable little rogue. But inevitably, when he comes down to football ability, I think he was more of a hindrance to us than he was. But look, I could be proven wrong. That's my personal opinion.
I'm sure it will be proven wrong.
Right.
Because I just feel that Brighton.
No, I'm on about the absence of us, not what he can do at Brighton. How we perform without him. is whether
No, I
I'm
think a
proven
lot of it
wrong or
is.
not. Yeah, what he does for
What
Brighton's inevitable. Look, it's different coaching, different footballers around him, different chances, right? It's what we do in his absence, whether proves that he was overrated or a hindrance to us. And look, I don't like to hate on players. I'm not really a player hater. Players come and go. They have good games. They have bad games. But I also know that in a lot of YouTube content creators' minds, if that was Bamford in the first minute yesterday, you'd have heard nothing else about it. Apart from
everyone would have packed up and gone home. Like that was the game.
100%. Right. And because it was Joseph, and I'll even defend him myself in a little bit, but I'll defend him in the way that he needs competition, and he needs competition that he can learn from. Whereas I don't think Patrick Bamford can teach him anything other than what he did in the first minute yesterday.
Despite the miss, I'm going to say there is a player in there.
Of course there is. Of course there is. And I saw that player yesterday when we had a throw in, like 15 minutes to go. We had a throw in up in there near their box, and they had a throw in near their box, should I say? And Joseph was the one. Press. No one else was pressing. You've got an opportunity in a dangerous area for them to lose the ball. So why would you not put the pressure on? And Joseph's got so much to his game. But that miss yesterday, and the more you watch that miss, the more fault you see in that miss. I.e. the body shape, the choice of shot, the execution. Everything about it was naive and screamed of novice.
Yep. Just want to say hello to Colin. But under Burnley fan, we got away with that win. You were definitely the better team, or the best team.
Yeah, and Colin, if you don't mind me saying, the first 20 minutes was tit for tat. It was end to end, and you didn't turn up with the game plan of let's sit behind the ball. But once you got the goal, you were Sheffield Wednesday. And fair play.
That's all they needed to be, though.
That's all you needed to be. And as much as I don't know what it was like as a Burnley fan being one up, but watching your team defend and then trying it as on a counter attack. But as a Leeds fan, it was just frustrating to watch because Daniel Farke has not got any clue how to break down a team that sits back and defends.
Ironically, Ben, I don't know if you remember this, but in the first Premier League season, I think we played Burnley on Boxing Day. We scored a penalty very early on in the game, and then Burnley basically turned into Barcelona, and they were on us like a flying shit, and we basically became what Burnley did yesterday, and we successfully defended out the 1-0 win like they did. I found it very similar.
I don't blame it. I'm not having to go at Burnley at all in any way. That they executed a game plan. They executed a game plan, and yet again, Daniel Farke was out-tactical. He was outmanaged. And I'm not Scott Parker's greatest fan. I'm not Scott Parker's greatest fan whatsoever. I think his football's fucking shit. But then again, I think Daniel Farke's football's shit. I think they're both Southgate-esque, and this is where the proof is in the pudding that the fans don't mean shit, right? It's not about entertaining the fans. It's not a business of entertainment. It's a business of making shareholders money. And 3 points matters more than entertaining your fans. And we were lucky enough as Leeds fans, right, to have a breath of fresh air in Bielsa where he actually realised that, hang on, this is about the fans. And as painful as it was to watch in the end, we were 5-1 down at Manchester United in the late 90th minute, and we score. We're still trying to score goals. As embarrassing as it is and as insignificant as that goal was, and they went and scored after that goal, we were still trying to entertain. And it was a lot more fun than watching this dross. This squad is capable of winning this league. without a doubt, this squad is capable of getting. But for my argument's sake, is Daniel Farke does not have a plan A. Never mind a plan B.
I just want to say hello to Sam Greenwood, who has turned up and is being oddly professional. So,
is that the real Sam Greenwood, or is it the Middlesbrough Sam Greenwood?
And at Preston now.
Same
Greenwood.
Difference.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. Sam, you slag. Sexy Sam is in the house. We're having a mother's meeting here. Colin,
listen, Tom. I'll be the first person that wants to be proven wrong. I don't say this right out of I hate managers, because I've been sat on the fence with him, and I've been in the camp of who do you replace him with. The guy's got 2 promotions and 90 points. It's nothing to be laughed at, but I just feel that this isn't the team to do that football with, and this isn't the squad to do that football with. So much more can be achieved with this attacking line and the full team. It's like he doesn't know when to make substitutes, and he doesn't know which substitutes to bring on.
Well, suppose next week we'll find out, because we're playing the worst team in the league, and there'll be big repercussions, I suspect, if we do not get a convincing result.
Right, serious question, and this goes out to Leeds fans. He loses next week, or we draw next week, and it's a piss poor, let's pass it backwards, let's pass it sideways performance. How long do you give him before you need to seriously think? Because you can't just take this season into consideration. You've got to take his last clump of games, and he's got 2 wins in 14 games, which is,
Ben, I'll tell you something I don't think you're going to like, but I'll tell you it. I suspect if we do sack Daniel Farke, which I'm not saying we should, in my opinion we should not, but if we did, I just think all they're going to do is break the Sam Allardyce button again, because it's been established that Sam Allardyce done an interview. He is mates with, what's his name, from the interview, not the movie, the interview, the one, what is his name? Kinnear, Angus Kinnear.
John Hearn, the interview.
Yeah. I don't know.
He's not mates with Seth Rogen.
I'd be very amused if he was, but apparently so.
No, I agree, Tom. I agree, right? Because
I think they'll just, because Sam Allardyce wants to be Leeds manager for some reason.
My one criticism that does stand out with the 49ers is they're very, very, very quick to distance themselves and put the blame on sins of the past. Now, inevitably, sins of the past, right, came in the season we got relegated. The majority of the sins came in that season, where they were 44% shareholders. Now, you don't own 44% stake in a club, right, and not have a fucking say in what goes on. It's too big of a stake. That's when you're 5-10%, where you don't really have a say. When you're Red Bull right now, you don't have a say in what goes on in the overall bigger picture, but you can offer your expertise in other areas. They had a massive stake, 6% off half, right? They were soon quick enough to say we're the ones who put up the money and signed Jorginho Rutter. So then you're also the ones that put that release clause in his contract. And fair enough, right? It might have seemed sensible at the time. An unknown, you've paid 35 million, you're going to make 5 million on him. Fine. It's not bad business in the long run, right? But my point is, you're quick to blame everything on Radrizzani.
I didn't pay 35 million.
But they're not, right? And that brings me to the point is, I think that they were as quick in the panic management appointments as much as Radrizzani was.
Of course. It was what was to get them out of trouble.
The point is there, though. If they do it right, managers are just like players. There's a hidden gem there, right? Somewhere in the Swiss league, right? Punching above his weight. that's got more tactical knowledge and more, right, than anybody, than Pep Guardiola. Pep Guardiola, right, I'm not saying he's not a great coach. He's a great coach. He's proven that. But you ain't put him at Crystal Palace with no money and then seen what he can do. He's been fortunate enough. He was given the big job and he succeeded with the big job. So therefore, big jobs come. And you can then dictate to clubs what wages you want, what players you want, and how it's going to go. But the reality is that's for 20 clubs in Europe that can do that. The rest of the world can't do that. So you've got to unearth these gems.
Yeah.
Right. And let's be honest, right? How many people, when they heard Leeds were signing the best coach in the world, had to Google Marcelo Bielsa? A lot. I knew who he was and I'd heard of him and I'd seen him, but best coach in the world, I wouldn't have put him in that label.
The label I would give him, right, the way I describe him to people, obviously different now. At the time, the way I described it to my dad, because he didn't have a fucking clue who that man was, I basically went, all the coaches you think are the best coach in the world, he is their favourite coach.
Yeah.
He's the one who taught them what to do.
Yeah. And I also think you've got to look beyond what, when it comes to Bielsa, what you see on the pitch. Because Bielsa's style of football, right, it's down to personnel. Right, you had Real Madrid's team, or let's say you had a selection of Europe's best players, right, for Leeds United playing that football in the Premier League. That football is going to succeed with players that can mark man for man, right, when they're better than the players they're marking man for man. Inevitably, we got found out because we had tired League One, lower Championship players trying to mark man for man players that were smarter than them up there. And it didn't take long for them players to get found out. But I also feel that the way they look at Bielsa is, it might not be the results on the pitch, it's what he actually gets out of players and what he actually does and the whole picture, rather than just looking at picking 11 players and going getting a result on a Saturday. There's a bigger picture to it. And that's why I believe he was called the best coach in the world. Because who else could take that dross and turn it into champions? But inevitably, Daniel Farke did it quicker. Did he not?
That's funny, though. That's funny Stefan says that. Because last night on Ryan's chat, when I basically said Pep is not the best coach in the world, and then Chris Nix was telling me I'm wrong, and you were agreeing with Chris Nix. So what is actually true, Stefan? Because I think Pep's a big bald fraud. Because I think he's always had the best in class. And basically, Ben just said similar. But you didn't agree with it last night when I said it. I'm not saying
he's not worth his salt. Because there's a lot of managers out there, right, that have equally good players and equally good squads, right, that can't do it. It helps to have an upper hand, right, with an Erling Haaland, a Gundogan, a Bernardo Silva, Kevin De Bruyne. It helps to have them players. But it's tit for tat, right, when you come to these top clubs, right, of who's better, Kevin De Bruyne or...
Oh, fucking eyes. Excuse me.
I don't know. Maybe I picked somebody wrong there. Let's have a look. Who's better, Erling Haaland or Mbappe? You know, you can argue, right? But when it comes to Madrid, Liverpool, Manchester City, Barcelona, it's tit for tat. And he
Definitely
seems to shine above the best of the best. So therefore, I'm not saying he's not an inadequate coach, because you still got to have something about you to make these big teams win. Look at Chelsea. How much money they spent. Still can't get it right.
He'll get it right if you give him the money to get it right. But then that's, in theoretically, that would be right with many coaches. And some people are naturally going to say, but it's not with many coaches because Chelsea. I'm like, yeah, but Chelsea have this inherent thing where it actually takes like £7 billion to win something.
Yeah, but I think Chelsea's problem is it isn't the manager picking the players.
No, it's not.
Whereas I think Pep says, I want him, I don't want him. Maybe a little
I'm
bit
not
different
saying,
with Haaland. I think
in all
City signed Haaland,
seriousness,
but inevitably he's going to score you goals.
I'm not saying that Pep's not a good manager. I just don't think he's the greatest manager that ever lived because of those reasons. As in, because he needs to have the best player in the league in any league he's in, for example. He needs to have the top scorer in any league that he's in. And some could say, oh, he won the Premier League Man City without a number 9. But that's because he had 30...
So where do you rank Phil Parkinson then?
Sorry?
Where do you rank Phil Parkinson?
I think Phil Parkinson is one of the better lower league managers. I wouldn't know what he's like if you put him in a top team because he's never going to get
do well wherever he goes, to be honest. And I know he's the equivalent of the lower league Manchester City right now. But what he's done and what Wrexham have done still takes doing.
Very true. Yeah, because Phil Parkinson, correct me if I'm wrong, did he not he got to the Carling Cup, was it Carling Cup final? Yeah. The League Cup final with Bradford.
Yeah.
He's with the Bradford team, weren't he?
Yeah.
I can't remember who sponsored it.
It was Carling. It was.
No, he lost the final 4-0 to Swansea, if I remember correctly. But he still got there with that Bradford team beat loads of Premier League teams. Sorry, I'll tell it more accurately. That Bradford team beat a lot of Premier League reserve teams.
Yeah,
because of the.
Let's face it, unless they get to the semis, they are putting the first team out. Yeah.
Yeah. Ancelotti. See, I believe Ancelotti is better than Pep, but I'm not saying he's not a good motivator. But I'm saying he's always had the best players to motivate.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's an argument I love to have because I'm never going to have my mind changed on it. But at the same time, people get so rolled up by it, like, because you dare to question the great Pep. People go, oh, Tom, you're just trying to troll. Yeah, kind of.
Pains me to say it.
That much.
Pains me to say it, right? Even though I think one signing made this fucking wanker, but Ferguson was a better manager than Pep. His 2012 title alone proves that.
Yep.
Even though Cantona gave him a title and gave him the stepping stone he needed to move on, he still bought Cantona.
That's true. That's very true. We are Hello Peacock Whites of LUFC. Hello, sir or ma'am.
Hello.
I don't know who you are. So one more thing to ask, really, Ben, because we're going to go back into it. It's a different way. Just want to break it up a little bit. Are we excited for the battle of the two best? We'll get to that as well. That's actually the last thing on my agenda. But no, because they're now talking about. Sorry, I'll say it right now. It rolls me up how they're all like, this is the biggest match ever in League One. It's like a League One that's had Leeds, Nottingham Forest, and Sunderland in it. That's the biggest match ever in League One.
Biggest game of the weekend, Birmingham Wrexham. How is that the biggest game of the weekend?
How can you even claim that when there's a North London derby?
I like Benjamin Bloom, right?
It's absurd.
You're just getting bought into a load of shit. It's not the biggest game of the weekend. Wrexham are no way a big team. Not even in their league are they a big team. They're not Birmingham. MK Dons are a bigger team than Wrexham. I'm not taking away Wrexham's glory and what they've achieved and the fun little ride that their fans are on, and fair play to them. They deserve something. They've been in the doldrums their entire existence. It's nice
they didn't even turn up for the doldrums.
Exactly. It's nice to see a fairy tale, but don't start fucking geeing it up with the biggest fucking game and the biggest. They're not. What? Because a fucking Hollywood actor owns them. Fuck celebrities. Will Ferrell, right?
Correct.
Will Ferrell, to me, is a Man United fan. I've seen him at Old Trafford more times than I've seen him at Ellen Road. And he turns up to Ellen Road and we get beat. And I love Will Ferrell as an actor. I love him. But he's not out to do with football, is he? Let's be honest. He's in it to make a few quid.
All good. All good.
And I don't want us turning into a sideshow like Wrexham have.
This is my thing. Like, whenever they make a point of showing there's a big celebrity in the crowd to watch us, we lose or we don't win. Like, I remember when they had, like, NBA player Russell Westbrook in the crowd for the Cardiff game, the opening game last season. It was like, oh, Russell Westbrook is like, he's a fairly big player in the NBA. He was there to watch the game because he's one of the first investors. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. And then we showed him how great it is being an investor in Leeds when we proceeded to go 2-0 down to Cardiff. And we come back to 2-2. But it was like, that's not really that great, was it? Not a great advertisement. Oh, well done. You gave us loads of money and then we did this. And same with Ferrell.
Speaking of celebrity Leeds fans, John Bon Jovi was a bit of a hero this weekend. He talked some woman off a bridge who was about to jump.
Was she on there, though, because she listened to his music initially? I've nothing against him. I've nothing against him.
It was when they sent LL Cool J a shirt. It's like, the fuck?
For good old school.
LL Cool J
mentioned old school,
sent
didn't
him a Leeds shirt, and I was just like, he probably don't even know Leeds United are.
Yeah. Will Ferrell is a funny guy, to be fair.
Should we get on with the roast anyway, my friend?
He should have turned up as Ron Burgundy. Like, don't mind him turning up in a suit in his Leeds hat or whatever. Turn up as your Anchorman character.
I started doing my own little chant yesterday, and it went something like, "At Leeds, it's side before self. We've got Bodie the Elf Leeds United."
And for anyone who just enjoyed this beauty, there you go. If you want to see more of that. Oh, we've got one more. If Director John would not mind.
Say what?
There we go.
You got to have one licking Baxter in the phone box.
Sure, John's recent singing concert couldn't take it anymore. His wife is Swedish. Her favourite footballer is Brolin. Oh no. Oh, it's enough to give me nightmares. You know what? We're 38 minutes into a show which is a discussion about Leeds United versus Burnley. So, Ben, what is the real thing you need to do in this situation? It's a Sunday roast.
Fucking Sunday
roast.
I'm going to change Klopp to Arnie Slot.
Yeah. Why not?
Please tell me in this week's Sunday roast, you've got Jack Harrison's assist from yesterday. Straight to Ollie Watkins.
I didn't know. All I knew is that Jack Harrison got hauled off.
No, mate, it was beautiful. His assist to Ollie Watkins, bang, 2-2.
Actually, I did have a specific thing to open the show with, and we totally didn't do it. But Liam Cooper left the club this week, officially. Johnny Cooper, who works for Opta, basically said, only Gary Kelly has started alongside more different players in Leeds United history than Liam Cooper, 123 players. For the good times, the bad, in different times, become servant, one of a small handful of people who have captained Leeds United to a trophy.
Yeah, I had, right. They were the 123 players that David O'Leary signed in one season. And 122 of them were centre forwards.
Yeah. That was a wild 2002 Leeds setup. So obviously back to our Sunday roast, and I'll start off with a classic. Bit of Football Manager, because I love a bit of Football Manager, and I've now got. Sorry, let me read that one. Alison is well pissed off. He's on there. I mean, he loves being relegated. Clearly, honestly, it's surely the name of a Dutch porn star on start is great. Yeah, I shouldn't have read that.
With that, but just side note there, right? Let's say Everton get relegated, right, and Leeds don't go up. Who's he going to play for?
It will be playing like a tug of war, as in, no, you have him. No, you have him.
Yeah, innit?
I don't know about you guys, but I love the chat. I mean, that is the one saving grace, is that even if the referees fuck up, they fuck up quick. Like, Like, you haven't got to wait around for 5 minutes before he then gets it wrong. He gets it wrong straight away and you move on. Anyway, when 17-year-old Argentine wonder kid see what the Argentine wonder kid sees when I turn up at the River Plate Academy, I'm taking you. I want that one. Sorry, what? Anyway, sorry, it's not politically correct. Anyway, happy birthday to Luka Modric, who turned 39 last week.
Oh, God.
Couldn't help it. Couldn't help it.
Looks like a turtle, doesn't she? Without its shell.
Wow. Wow. Oh, my. I don't want you back in the early kickoff. Oh, okay. Have it your way. I'm just going to the bookies to back the early kickoff. Don't. Never back the early kickoff. If you are that way inclined, never do it. It's always a mistake. Especially if you're a Leeds fan, you did it yesterday. Anyway, I've got a live picture of the average referee this weekend. That first half at the Emirates. No, sorry, not the Emirates. Tottenham.
Aston Villa Everton.
There are so many yellow cards this weekend. It was like Oprah Winfrey giving out yellow cards. Like, you can have a yellow. You can have a yellow.
To say that, though, I don't think there was enough yesterday for us. I think there was a few that got away yesterday. And I think the ones that he did give yellows for were pathetic. But we'll get to that prick in a minute.
See, Tariq, I was right. Never back the early kickoff, because then you end up redoing the same bet.
Tariq, it's your fault. It's your fault. You have to own it. You back Leeds in the early kickoff. It's your fault.
Again, I'm glad we were talking about Pep, because I as a coincidence, I happen to have what on earth possessed you to play out from the back. Pep Guardiola plays out from the back. If Pep Guardiola jumped off a cliff, I'm there. Because that's what football is now. Whatever the best manager is doing, perceived to be the best manager is doing, everyone else copies it and does an inferior version of it.
Because they don't know what they're doing. Of
course they don't, because they haven't got the checkbook to supply the players to do the thing. They're like, but I can teach you to do it on a budget. Yeah, but you can't. You just can't.
I'm not a believer in that. Just because Pep presses, you don't mean that you shouldn't be able to press. Pressing's just basic football. And there's that many teams, right, that press Leeds and then they flurry Leeds. And then we don't do it back. And it's just pathetic, honestly. We'll get to it.
Supposedly we are. Allegedly, we are looking at making Ellen Road 53,000. But also, allegedly, we were meant to do that 10 years ago. So I'll believe it when I see it. One more. That's a lie. There's a lot more than one more. Did you know Liverpool lost to Nottingham Forest? Haaland knows. He fucking loved that. Well,
you've got to look at the stadium increase from a business perspective. And you've got to listen to what Angus Kinnear said on the square ball, that the West Stand holds no hospitality whatsoever. And if you look at Tottenham's model and anybody else that's done the stadium or Madrid or whatever, it's all about hospitality. It's about what money you can make on non-match days.
Yep, that's true. I mean, I'm glad they're doing it, but obviously,
I'm sick of having a ground like Sheffield Wednesdays, an asbestos pit.
Yeah, it's laughable in hindsight. Welby says this Arsenal-Manchester City rivalry will be remembered for years to come. Here with a diagram of part of that rivalry and their rivalry with Liverpool. Because, let's be honest, not much of a rivalry, is it?
No.
When you look at it after the fact, not a rivalry at all. It's basically one manager winning a lot of the things and the other manager winning the one where the other manager was underperforming. And then the world changed.
I was walking home tonight and I seen two young lads with their mum, and they both had Man City tracksuits on. And my first thought was, real Man City fans don't want you.
True.
They don't want that kid that just supports top of the league, plastic fucking fan. They don't.
They want someone that suffered through League One Manchester City.
Yes, proper fans.
There's not many of them, though.
No.
There's really not. But out of respect to our friends in the Arsenal community, I did put together a couple. I did. I say that like I made it. I didn't make it. I just stole it. But a bit of is North London derby. The match itself played out via a diagram. And here's after the match. I'm tired of living in their shadow. I quit. I'm surprised I didn't do it sooner. The Spurs team visited an orphanage in London today. It's heartbreaking to see their sad little faces with no hope, said Ben, age 6. And now on to our main event of memes. There was another match that happened this weekend that kind of got a reaction out of me. But before we do that, Peacock Whites with a description for you to all do, because I would never tell you to do such things, but I would absolutely tell you if other people tell you to do similar things. So there's a loophole there. Anyway, oh, that outrageous. I mean, that fountain at Manchester United is incredible. It's incredible. Hello, Gary. Hello, Tom. In the chat room. Gary is he's a great man. He's a great man, despite what I say about him usually. He's a great man.
He's one of the best of men.
He is.
He's a lovely guy.
Sam Greenwood.
And he's an Arsenal fan to boot, so you can't have everything. You can't have everything.
Nobody's perfect, but he did come in at a great time for anyone that wanted to roast Tottenham. Real Man City fans know who Sean Goater is. They certainly do. He's the GOAT.
He's the GOAT and he will score.
Love the meme. Love the diagram. Love the memes. Right, it warms my heart because I put no effort into that. Goater. Wow. Cladsy. Oh my God. Oh my God. They've been doing a lot of things like the
I'm going to go old school for you then. Old school Man City. Men. Colin Hendry. Before he went Blackburn.
If you really want to like go proper old Man City, Peter Reid played for Man City, if I remember rightly.
Yes.
Former Leeds United manager.
The maroon brother kit, yeah.
Yeah. Got to look at expressions highlights.
Richard Dunn.
I'm sure it's an event. Sorry, what's that?
Richard Dunn, centre half.
Yeah, he definitely played for them. Because didn't he get chinned by Joey Barton at a Christmas party? It's something like that.
Yeah.
It's one of those stories like he stepped in and then he paid for it. Gary is a legend. Gary's something. He's a legend. In all seriousness, show lad, I appreciate that. It's like Gary, that fountain is special. Colin Bell, Robbie is in here. Hello, Robbie, with Colin Bell, Noel Quinn. Do you know what? We know more about Man City than actual Man City fans that are watching Man City now. You've named players that they'd all sit there and go, who? How much? How many tens of millions did we pay for Colin Bell? Anyway.
Who was the curly-haired goalkeeper? I'm thinking Marshall, but he was Ipswich, wasn't he? I remember Leeds beat him 4-1 at Ellen Road. I think David Batty scored. I'm trying to think who the goalkeeper was. I can picture him.
Joe Barton. You were Barton's last club, if I remember rightly, Colin. Excuse me if I'm wrong on that. Joe Corrigan. Is that the name of the goalkeeper? Joe Corrigan. Is that the name of the keeper? Or because I don't know the answer to this.
I'm going to Google it.
In my defence, I'm not actually supposed to know the lineup of Man City against Leeds in 1991. maybe I should know the Leeds lineup, which evidently I don't, but I could probably guess. Well, anyway, while Ben looks up, you know what's great about you English? Villa versus Everton. Man, I must have seen that fixture 212 times. I believe, I could be wrong, is the most played. Tony Cotton.
Yeah. Must have.
That's it.
Tony Cotton.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the one. Did you know Everton versus Villa is actually a fixture that dates back to like the origin of football? They've played so many times. And in match, let's see how match 2013 went for Everton. Spoiler, it did not go very well.
Spoiler, it went the same as last week.
If you saw how Everton did last week, copy and paste.
They do say 2-0 is the most dangerous lead in football.
I've never agreed with that, but for Everton, it's like fucking serial killing. Bloody hell. David White was good, yeah.
Do you know what I'm waiting for?
That David White used to play for Leeds.
Yeah, do you know what I'm waiting for? Na. Dyche is at the wheel. Dyche is at the wheel.
They did have Tony Cotton in the early 90s, as correct, yeah.
We're going through a City
90s.
squad. Colin Hendry, Michael Vonk.
Then we bought him. We bought him off of Man City and then sold him back to Man City, if I remember rightly. But doesn't really matter, does it?
I've never been so excited about Man City as to this team.
Man City versus Spurs FA Cup final. That was been in 81, wasn't it? Could be wrong.
Neil Poynton. Do you remember Neil Poynton?
Yeah, he manages Fleetwood. Joey Barton's got a different job now to managing Fleetwood. He's now just causes outrage on Twitter.
You're going to remember this guy. Blonde hair. Looked like you put a ball around his head and cut it. First name Gary.
Gary Flitcroft.
Yes.
I'm like the shitheads are. I know all the shitheads.
Oh, Gary Flitcroft. Steve McMahon. That's it. Adrian Heath.
Dyche has turned Everton to Burnley is so obvious. Oh, thank you, Conche.
Niall Quinn.
Everton fans shitting themselves at 2-0. That is what I was thinking. Yeah, Dyche was great for us. Dyche is, I'll be fair, like, let's be 100% fair to Colin. Dyche is their Bielsa.
Yeah.
Dyche is very much Burnley's Bielsa. But, you know, he's still Everton's Sean Dyche. So, Everton are the club that have lost the most Premier League games. I've got a quick question for you, Sam, or for everyone else. Who is the player that has lost the most Premier League games? It's been on the losing side in the most Premier League games without winning a game. He extended his record this weekend as a clue. Everton love flirting.
Question.
Current player has never won a Premier League match. Who is that player? Sorry, go on, Ben.
Who is the 1991 Man City manager? And it's
is it Peter Reid as a player manager?
Yeah, it is, you twat. Fucking wanker.
I'm sorry. It's only because I remember on the, I think it was on the Leeds United title winning VHS. Peter Reid he either gives away a penalty or he scores a penalty, but because it came off the post, they made him retake it or they disallowed it or something like that. But it was Peter Reid.
Yeah, I think he hit the rebound in it and didn't touch another player.
Yeah, it come direct. It hit the post and come straight back out to him, and it was like, yeah, that don't count, mate. So then we went and scored another 4 goals. Yeah, Peter Reid, the former Sunderland manager and Leeds United manager, managed Man City as player manager in the early 90s.
1991.
Alan Ball, little ginger. And yeah, to be fair, Rob,
did he replace or
did Ben Barrett and Diaz?
Did Joe Royle replace him? I think he did, didn't he?
Yeah.
He was at Oldham, wasn't he, Joe Royle?
was there a manager called Horton, like Jim
Brian
Horton?
Horton.
Brian Horton. I
Yes.
think. Did he manage? Was he manager of Leicester in the mid-90s? I don't know
Yeah,
if I've
I think
got
he
this
was Man
right.
City 94. Let me have a look. About 94, he was Man City, I think.
So for anyone who's just coming in, I just want to say welcome to the We All Love Mid-90s Football
to the
podcast.
other side, the Manchester City podcast.
Raw was at Oldham for donkeys years. We All Love Not Manchester City in the 90s podcaster. Yeah, of course.
93 to 95, yeah. So he was 94, yeah. He was Hull City, Oxford, Man City, Huddersfield and Brighton, Port Vale and Macclesfield.
John Bond in the 80s with Malcolm Allison.
I do love it when we get beat because we talk about everything but the game.
I mean, everyone's just firing names out that just make you go, oh, I remember that. Oh, I remember him. I remember that. Oh, this is a thing of beauty. But no one's ever going to forget this because I don't want to give a number of memes on this football match. And it's not the Leeds match. It's the Everton match. Bottling the 2-goal lead. Oh, no, not again. This is a 2-0 lead. Hold on to it. Whoa, slow down, Egghead, says Sean Dyche. Sorry, Colin. I didn't know you existed or I wouldn't have put this on here. I'm sorry. I wouldn't have done it to you because I like you a lot. Anyway, hey, Everton supporters, this is how you hold on to a lead. Hang on, ironically, where's that Richo fella who was so friendly with us when we lost the playoff final? He's like he's fell off the face of the earth because Everton are suddenly shit.
Suddenly? They've been shit for about 10 years.
I was being generous. I mean, I didn't want to say because they've been shit for 5 years, but you only just realised it. That's rude of me. And I'd never be rude. Like Man City better when Leeds could trash them. Third have been shit since 2000. To be fair, they did get in the Champions League qualifying stage in 2004.
Yeah,
they lost. They lost, to be fair, because of course they did. My ex is seeing a Leeds fan. This is really awkward because my actual instinct was to go congratulations to him, but obviously I don't really know the backstory. So, like, is that salty for you, or is he doing you a favour, or
let's just leave that where it is.
I just need to get away from this, but it's like a car crash because, like, I can't help but just keep the permutations of the situation. Sorry, Colin. Yeah, what's that? A lot of it. Yeah,
so basically,
okay, cool.
Colin doesn't like Leeds.
I think he came here like expecting to be all like, yeah, we fucking won. Then he saw us talking about it like so blasé, and he's like, I don't really need to do that now because they know they
The thing about Leeds fans, Colin, is right. If you want to, like our best show for viewers came directly after a 1-0 playoff defeat against Southampton, and it was basically viewers of other clubs that just wanted to see us in pain. We're Leeds fans. We don't do pain. We've been in pain for years, so we know how to take the piss out of ourselves.
Speaking of taking a piss out of yourselves, but by ourselves I mean Everton. Everybody's got a fear of something. A 2-goal lead. Where? Sorry. Poor old Everton thinks a 2-0 lead will be enough. Good old 2-0 lead. Nothing beats that. And that's the end of that chapter. 20 minutes later, you put on a bit of weight. SpaghettiOs. I'm sorry. Everton, I'm sorry.
No, you're not.
I'm so happy. That happened. Things are very I have planetary ice and Everton getting into the top half of the table.
On the plus side, you will have the best ground that the Championship's ever seen.
Oh, that stadium's incredible. hey EPL, we want to go back to international break.
Yeah, so the Leeds.
That's fair. Everton's probably at home next week, to be fair to them. And there's a serious worry next week that basically there could be a pitch invasion or pitch invader. And they're basically really worried that if he gets on the pitch with enough time of the game left, they're worried that he might win the man of the match for Everton. Can you do Dr. Evil pose with both? Anyway, yeah. $1 million or whatever. Sorry.
$100 million.
Yeah. Brownie, how you doing, Brownie?
Brownie.
Oh, look who it is! Look who it is, Richo!
Richo!
Fucking Richo!
Oh no, Richo, can we go back 10 minutes?
Richo, I was just talking about you. You're like my favourite Everton fan.
We were just asking where you've been since Everton was shit, and we realised that you've been shit for like longer than we've been shit. But just hold on a minute, Richo. Brownie, you need to do us a favour next week and just fucking lie down and die. Not you personally, your team.
Yeah, no, we're quite fond of you. We were saying in the backstage before we started that I actually feel really bad that I kind of need us to trash your team because I don't want to trash your team, but I kind of need to trash your team. You know what I mean?
Richo, can I ask you, what did you think of Jack Harrison's assist yesterday?
Incredible. There's only so many times you can escape relegation. He's a prick. Live in Blackpool, never been to a Leeds game. Who are you talking about specifically? Because I'm pretty sure you're right. Colin. Oh, the Leeds fan. It's the Leeds fan.
Oh, no. The girlfriend's bloke.
Yeah. It's at the end of my head. No, I apologise.
He's in Blackpool. Why is he cock anyway then? Yeah.
Oh, we're not perfect.
Oh, we've got plenty of armchair fans that, like LL Cool J and John Bon Jovi and the Fonz, who was literally in his armchair when he had his photo taken.
Is it fair to say that bullet time is over, Brownie? That their manager's name is Bullet.
No, but I seriously, being a Leeds fan, want to know what Richo thinks of Jack Harrison, because we really don't want that prick back.
We're kind of hoping the one saving grace to you surviving is that you will hopefully have the funds to actually buy him outright. And don't get me wrong, there's still a more perfect outcome. I don't think you'll like it, Richo, in all fairness. But we're quite fond of Richo. Not fond enough that I want you to escape the relegation, of course.
No.
But,
we just don't like cheats.
Blackpool. The Fonz is Leeds. He is. Henry Winkler is a Leeds fan.
I'm going to show you.
It's factually true.
I'm going to show you now.
I'm surprised Director John can't find it. I don't know if he's still around to do his thing. He's not around to do his thing. Yeah, it's fine. It's no problem. But yeah, Henry Winkler, I think because there's a photo. He's sat with his Leeds scarf and all that.
Literally in his armchair.
Everyone supports Leeds.
I'm going to get you LL.
Tom and Ben smiles next weekend. I don't want Brownie to cry. Ideally, we'll win the game 1-0 and no feelings are hurt. Happy days then.
There's the shirt.
Getting relegated will be bad news for Leeds next season.
On my screen.
Is that because we will not be? Is that because we'll be down there with them? LL Cool J with his Leeds shirt in a lovely box sent directly from Radrazani, I believe. And you got the cringy thing, the cringiest thing ever. Oh, hello, Director John.
I heard my name. I was getting some water.
Hi,
Oh,
John,
no, I
how
was
are you?
just saying,
Good,
I
how
was
you
just suggesting that
I'm good, man.
Ben was looking for the picture of the Fonz with his Leeds scarf.
Oh, I'll find it.
And
Bon Jovi.
Bon
so, yeah.
Jovi. Jesus, burn
How
that
are you doing,
phone.
John?
Good.
Endless celebrities, Leeds United. Endless.
Now
And
that
for all
Bon
those that think Jimmy Savile was one of our own, was actually a Liverpool fan.
that Bon Jovi on your phone, throw your phone out now. It's
No, he
disgusting.
saved somebody's life at the weekend.
What? He didn't
He
play any
talked him off
music?
a bridge. A woman was about to jump off a bridge, and 20 people walked by and ignored her. He didn't.
In Jersey?
No, in some shithole in America.
Jersey.
Yeah, probably.
Sam, what do you think of Obafemi? Do you think Obafemi's a Leeds fan?
I love you, John.
I don't even know who that is. Bin Jovi.
All right, let me look.
What a name, Bin Jovi. Yeah. So, but yeah, I do think he's a Leeds fan. No, keep it at Bin Jovi. It's funny, much funnier.
Gin Bin Jovi.
Jim Bin Jovi. I've also got the time that Otto did a bungee off the top of a building in The Simpsons. They're screaming as Homer went with him, because of course he did. They went down this manhole where they went past some Morlocks, Chuds, mole people, and then they found themselves at Everton. What are the chances? But Richo, I think this encapsulates your feelings, sir. I'm in danger.
There's only 3 teams in the is it 92? It is 92. Isn't it? There's only 3 teams with nil points.
Even Cardiff got a draw.
I'm kind of happy, right, that one of the other 2 Southampton as well, because Russell Martin's a prick.
He was living on a prayer. Oh, that's brilliant. I'm pissing my sight. Oh, the African Murder King, Obafemi, thinks Leeds is a great place to go out for attendance extra strong. And
Hey,
I'm pissing my sides laughing.
Strong.
I did promise you, Tariq, there's going to be very little Leeds on this. I mean, if there are Leeds fans that are like, I'm very disappointed that there's very little Leeds on this. So like, what do you expect me to say?
After the weekend, I think the match reviewed up to 9s with this. What's to review? What's to review, really?
Yeah.
He's got no tactical plan. He don't know when to make subs. He don't know which subs to bring on. Right.
Getting a bit dark here, obviously, because
I get
Everton
right.
fans.
You defend that he can't account for Joseph missing that and Nonto missing that, right? But
Idi Amin was a big Leeds fan. I can believe it. Did you see? I did see that miss. Ben, did you see the Derby player miss the open goal?
Yes.
Outstanding. It made me sit there and think. I hope that Matteo Joseph saw this and was like, realised he's not the worst footballer on earth.
No.
Basically, he walked by the bridge and said, "Are you wanted, dead or alive?" And Tennant's corpse gravy. Seriously, Jimmy's our resident beer.
Jimmy knows. Trust me, Jimmy knows.
Yeah, the spring they made film. Yeah, of course he knows. He knows. Surprisingly, we had them call on the break. Yeah, Robbie's right. The player was playing. Yes, I did see the. There was a commentator did say something like maybe he's thinking of his old club. It was something like that. I'm not got the exact wording. Can you imagine going to football with Idi and they're lost? Joseph should have done anything except what he actually did.
I'm not going to beat on him, but in an alternate world, right? If Matteo Joseph would have been any other player, he would have been hung, drawn, and quartered for that miss yesterday.
True.
And I am not a Bamford fan. Don't for 1 minute think I'm a Bamford fan. I just like fairness.
I've got
You gonna
one
string
more
that?
Everton meme. I promise. It's the last Everton one. When San Marino has more wins this season than Everton.
Richo, I feel for you, my friend.
It's cause of his face is pulling.
We're not
He's
here
like-
to hate on Everton, Richo, I promise. Not much. But Sean Dyche is at the wheel.
Leeds need to score 6 against Cardiff. Well done, San Marino.
We'd
San
be all right
Marino.
if we were playing Everton every week, wouldn't we?
No, it was the perfect storm. It was basically a joke San Marino, a joke about Everton, and it had Arsene Wenger. I was like, it's got the triple threat of everything I need in a meme. Tariq says, I'm beginning to think you guys don't like Everton.
I love them.
Conche saved us a lot of time by saying we don't.
I used to live on
We do like Richo, to be fair.
a street called Breck Road, which is at the top of Sleepers Hill in Liverpool. And the bottom of Sleepers Hill, you've got Everton. And then to the right, you've got Anfield. And my flat used to look right above. It's like above street level, so you used to look down on it, and it was great because one week you'd have loads of Liverpool birds walking by in Liverpool shirts, and then the next week there'd be loads of Everton birds walking by in Everton shirts. So I don't hate Everton women fans.
Director John doing his thing. Winkler, number 10. I mean, that's the number 10 we should have signed rather than Brendan Aronson. It's the one American you can trust. I don't know why I said that because I know John's going to have me killed. Yeah. And Emery Wankler.
Hey, it's the Fonz you're talking about there.
What's going on at Everton makes me feel so good. He didn't say so good. I did that. Ben, the actual final meme of the set, though, is Rooney must have won. Finally.
Kind of glad he did.
Very funny that he did.
No, but the fact that
Sunderland were getting a bit above
whether you
themselves.
regard Sunderland as a threat to Leeds or not, right? And I think for anybody to say no is arrogant that they think Leeds are going to romp to some sort of promotion when the reality is it ain't going to be that straightforward.
I think it's
So
helped
therefore,
us out.
Sunderland are a threat, and the fact that Plymouth beat them, reined them in. So it was a good result for Leeds that yesterday. So thank you very much, Wayne.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoy your 85-year-old present. I hope you enjoy your vintage.
Yeah. I've been very generous with the image we put Wayne's head on, to be clear. Just coincidental. You know what? Hour and 14 minutes into the show, it probably seems a good time as any to actually put up the starting lineup. Should we go through the starting lineups? Ben, what would you have changed apart from all of it?
I'm sick to death, right, of playing two holding midfielders.
Do you mean these two?
Them two. And I ain't picking any fault in either of them per se. But for me, right, that should go Ampadu, take Aronson and Gruev out, and then you pick Tanaka and Rothwell, and then have a flat three of Nonto, Joseph, and Solomon. So you play the single pivot with the two forward midfielders and three as a flat front. That's how I'd do it, and that's how you win this league. Playing teams, right? And I don't care. It's Burnley. Whether it's Burnley, Sheffield Wednesday, Plymouth, Sunderland, he's going to play the two holding midfielders, and there's no need for it in this league with the squad and the attacking talent we've got.
What I find funny about playing the two holding midfielders is that how did we get caught out as we did and deep down, right, put it out here. Obviously, it's a freak accident that the Tottenham loanee, Solomon, falls over. Like, that happens. Why, with two holding midfielders, are we left with Jayden Bogle on his own against two Burnley players? How does that happen? Why are you even bothering to do a double pivot if they're not going to cover the defence?
I've felt that's been a problem for a season, that we overcommit when we're attacking, we overcommit when we've got corners, and we don't have pace at the back. We don't.
All in all, though, I think Burnley are going to win. Well, you should.
You should, and I wouldn't begrudge you in thinking that, because they weren't great yesterday. They really were, but they did what they needed. They did what they needed to do. They scored the goal, and then that's all they needed to do. And I'm not going to take away that they did, until they scored that goal, they didn't hunt for that goal, because they didn't start them first 25 minutes how they finished the final 65. They wanted to score that goal so they could execute that game plan. They scored the goal and gave them every right in the world to execute that game plan. And I know it's not great and it's frustrating, but then it's on us, the home team, the favourites for the league, to break them down. And he does not have a clue how to do that.
Right. And in the interest of balance, just in case we do happen to have Burnley fans watching, so I'm just doing the obvious winking thing, in case we have Burnley fans watching. This was how you lined up. And evidently, football is not judged based on which players has the most photos on the Google. Because otherwise you would not have won. Luckily for you. 3 players with photographs. And of course it's that Hannibal. Just someone should have ate him.
Do you know, I'm not even going to go there with scum bastard with Hannibal, and the way he went off. He had every Leeds performance, Leeds position at that time, when he gave him every opportunity to mock the fans.
I love that he did.
I like a player that gives it back. I do. Whether he gives it back to us or he doesn't, it's exactly what I do. You're going to mock me, I'm going to mock you back. It's as simple as that.
It was the one thing that got the atmosphere going. It ignited an atmosphere, which I'm very thankful that he did that, because it was like, to be fair, I'm quite hard on the Leeds fans in the ground, because obviously, as we say every week, away fans, fantastic. Home fans, it's very, you're here to entertain me, which is kind of true. But at the same time, it's like, it's on you to encourage them by making the noise that you brag all the time that you're supposed to make.
It's where I highlight there's a massive difference between a supporter and a fan. A supporter supports. A fan just fucking gobs off from his couch.
I don't like this.
I'm not going to lie. Lately, I haven't been to Ellen Road to a league match for a good fair few months, but I don't sit here and claim glory when we claim glory. I just see what I say. What I see. I'm not here to slag players off. Nothing would cheer me up better, right, than me to be proven wrong about Daniel Farke. But I just think we've seen enough of this sideways, backwards, fucking slow tempo shit that it ain't going to change. So therefore, I fear that it's not going to be enough this season. Look, it's all right. You can say the league is weaker, and the league is weaker, but Leeds United are weaker too.
Well, I mean, what I will say, that I'll say it now rather than later, is we're still only in week 5 and it's still lost number 1. Like, this is by no means a hit the panic button.
I'm not panicking.
No, but
excuse
it's important to get that across. Because there are Leeds fans that will panic. If you give them anything to panic about, they will.
I'm going off what I've seen in the 5 games. And you can argue 6. You can argue 6. And I know there was 8 changes and there was 7 or 8 changes for Middlesbrough too, but it was the way they got beat. It wasn't so much the competition and the squad that was out there, but it also gives you a look at your squad depth and if it is good enough. But I'm looking at the 5 performances so far, and there's only really the Sheffield Wednesday game where you can actually say we actually went at it. Do you know? Everything else has been under par. It's not been Championship form for me. And I know we had a slow start last season and then we went on a massive run, but you can't afford that blip at the beginning of the season because inevitably you're going to hit another one at some point.
Yeah, I agree. Because I mean, ebbs and flows football, but you need more. You need more ebbs than flows. Anyway, Sam Greenwood said he was arrested. Hannibal was arrested by Clarice Starling, but he got away in the end. Well, did you know that they remade Hannibal in 1993, but they called it The X-Files? That's genuinely true. Scully is based on Clarice Starling. It's so obvious if you actually watch it. Anyway, sorry. This is not a We All Love X-Files show. I just thought I'd point out because we go on tangents. As Ben himself said, we are tangent-y people.
We are, which brings me to FHM, which once voted her the most sexiest woman in the world.
It must be those early 90s pantsuits that she was wearing with the shoulder pads.
The shoulder
this upcoming game is going to love me a shoulder pad. Must be why I love NFL. Anyway, this upcoming game's going to be sideways, backwards derby. Then, as this style of football is boring the tits off me, so many clubs are keeping possession. There's not a team that keeps possession for possession's sake more than Daniel Farke, Leeds United. I'll tell you that. Great Hannibal.
It goes back to the subs, right? And yesterday, he brought Byram on. And then 5 minutes later, switched to a back 3. Right. He knew he was going to switch to that back 3, so why bring Byram on? I like Sam Byram. I think he's a safe defender. But when you're chasing a game, he's not who you want to be bringing on.
I think they were worried that Firpo was going to get sent off or Bogle 1
Take that risk. Take that risk. You go to a back 3, right? You need Firpo who's better as a wing back than he is as a defender. He defended okay for me yesterday, but
Firpo is Pablo Maldini in the Championship. He just is.
And
it also, I mean, the yellow card he took saved us another goal. To be fair,
from what I've seen of Ramzani thus far, I see that he wants to run at players and try and make something happen. So therefore, that begs the question, Daniel Farke has seen a lot more of him than me and can see that. So why not bring him on earlier when he's going to make an impact?
Well, I mean, ultimately, we can only
who
really
or when
this
to bring on subs.
4 or 5 games, right?
He doesn't. He does not know who or when to bring on subs.
He only knows how to bring on subs when we're winning. He doesn't know how to do it when we're chasing. Doesn't really know how to do anything when we're chasing, to be fair.
No, he just thinks, right, I've got 10 attacking players in this squad. I'm going to put them all
on. And ultimately, rightly or wrongly, he basically sits there and goes, the team I have, we should go in front in every game. And if we do, then we'll just pass it around. We'll suffocate the other team by short passing, which is great if it works.
Yeah, but go 1-0 up before you do that. Not 1-0 down before you do it, do you know?
Colin says, if we don't get at least 20 points from the next games, well, it's over to you. Well, I'm glad you're still here, Colin, because I may have took the liberty of getting a couple of photographs for the game. For example, the first minute of the game, How are we not 1-0 up in the first minute of the game?
Because everybody's put the whole world on this kid's shoulders and thinks he's the answer. And although one day he might be the answer, he's not the answer yet. And everything about that shot proved it. His body shape, the choice, right? You want him on with the keeper, right? As we look at that now, he needs to be going to the goalkeeper's right. Just cut off with your right foot, slot it in with your left.
You know the player that he stripped to the ball on the halfway line was the one that scored.
Yeah.
Which is like, well, that's how you make
I'm
up.
not digging his performance yesterday because I thought first half he was kept out of it. Second half he tried more. He tried to get involved and he was involved in a few good moments, some good off the ball play, some good movement. I'm not. The kid's got potential, a lot of potential, and I hope that he succeeds in that potential to the fullest, whether it be with us or not. Right? I wish him to achieve that excitement that everyone's got in him, but he's nowhere near that yet. He's basically playing his 7th, 8th start in professional football.
It feels like another one of these. We're not going to get the best out of him because we're going to get his lean years, and then another team's going to get the best out of him when he drops to them.
And as long as we're in this division, we're never going to have a chance to find out otherwise. We need to get out of this division for a start, then establish ourselves, and then grow as the size of the club that we are. Right? Too many fans think we're Leeds United, and I think this is Man United fans, right? But it's no more evident than within our own fan base, right? That we're Leeds United, we've got an entitlement to be great because we're a big club and because we were a big club. How do you define a big club fan base? Trophies, money in the bank, what? Because Sunderland have got all that. Birmingham have got all that. We're not a big club. We have the potential to be a big club. What you've got to understand is right now we're a League One feeder, a Championship feeder club to anybody that's got the money to pick off our talent. And until you're out of this division and you've established yourself, look at Nottingham Forest winning at Anfield yesterday. No one's seeing them going down this season. They should have gone down other than us, but they didn't. But now they're sort of an established and they're doing it the right way, building slowly. Villa did it a bit quicker, but whereas we just fucking went gun-ho at it, right, and kept the same players and then wasted money on a few additions.
We basically got additions in areas where we didn't need the additions, really, but then didn't replace the players that were clearly aging and underperforming.
And to this day, we still haven't got a left back. I know we love Junior, but let's be honest, to this day, we still haven't got a left back.
Well, Junior's the greatest left winger, greatest left-sided player at that end of the pitch ever. But he's not a defender. We love him, but he's not a defender. Yeah. Did anyone see the other? To be fair, he made some great challenges yesterday because I will always defend my boy. Always.
So, Firpo in this league's great. And I think Firpo as maybe a backup could do things in the Premier League, a bit more game time, maybe a bit. I'm not going to judge anybody's performances under Marshball because that system in the Premier League's just set up to fail. Right, the Premier League is about wingers. We all know it's about wingers. Every club's got wingers, and he decides we're a club that's got 4 or 5 wingers. Oh, we're going to play cockball. So I'm not gonna judge any of Firpo's performances.
Before we go into other stuff, I just think it's really important to bring up in the 6th minute of the game. Leeds United fan Bob obviously passed from, I believe he had cancer. But he was in social media videos for Leeds, like interacting with the squad. And I think it puts in a bit of perspective how meaningless a lot of this discussion is. Because again, in the 6th minute, obviously, they totally stopped the game and they did an applause and all that. And
I agree the referee stopped the game, and I agree that Melier stopped the game.
Yeah. I mean, Leeds are, I think they feel obligated to say the ref stopped the game because I get the feeling it was agreed between both clubs that it would stop, and it did. And so that being said, sign of a big club.
Yeah, it makes you look at life, doesn't it, in this perspective. We choose to support these football teams, right, and we choose to invest our emotions and everything else into it, when inevitably it's just some rich twat's business.
Yeah. And we've sat here for an hour and 32 minutes discussing that. And I don't mean to make everyone feel like, oh, you've wasted your time. That's not the case because we all had fun. But still keep in perspective, there are people going through real problems.
Yeah.
And there's a family out there that's genuinely hurting because they've lost their child. And he happened to love this football team. I mean, people ain't perfect, obviously, because we made that decision
luckily enough for poor Bob, he got to see the better end of Dross before it went Dross again.
That's true. That's true. You did get to see us being half decent, even in there, though there was a relegation. But,
even though I'm not religious, and I like to think that he's at peace somewhere better now. Do you know, whatever you believe in, reincarnation, heaven, whatever, but I like to feel he's at peace and painless now.
Yeah, well said.
Matching on together all Leeds, aren't we?
It's true. So I did the wrong thing. No, it's got to do that. Oh, and anyway,
and that goes to any club that's lost little fans, because it's not just Leeds.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, of course. All our condolences to their family, and then something not as worse. Nothing in the scheme of things. Burnley scored because Leeds player fell over.
As I say, I was watching a dodgy stream, all paid for. £60 a year, all paid for. And it froze when we had a corner. And then I turned it back on and we were 1-0 down. So
yeah.
I didn't see Solomon give the ball away. I still haven't seen him give the ball away. I've seen the goal, but it just cuts there.
But obviously,
I didn't see the red card either. I thought, fuck this, it's shit.
One thing I will say is I'm glad that the media didn't report it as 10-man Burnley beat Leeds. It's like, motherfucker got sent off in the 98th minute. Like, that had no bearing on the result. Like, but to be fair, the media did not report that from what I saw. But I've seen it done. Like, when you get a player sent off in like the 10th minute of stoppage time, and then it's like, oh, so-and-so heroically holds that. It's like they didn't heroically do shit. Burnley did heroically hold that, to be fair.
In my defence, anybody that's criticising me for turning off early, which is the equivalent of walking out of the ground with 5 minutes to go. When we've been losing and I've turned off last season, we've scored late, and I did it in hope that that's what had happened. It happened again this season. Portsmouth, they got that penalty. I turned it off. I thought we've lost, so I turned it off. And then, lo and behold, it was 3-3, and I turned it back on. And then Aronson missed that chance.
Correct, Armando. Also, Willie Friednonto missed from here, straight at the goalkeeper. I mean, to be fair, James Trafford had the game of his fucking life. Pardon my language. Apologies to any young ones.
I don't think he's a bad keeper, to be honest. He's not a bad keeper at all.
No, but he was made to look a bad keeper last year.
I think he's better than our options.
They dropped him. They dropped him last year in the Premier League. Like he was meant to keep him in the Premier League, and he obviously didn't. And they dropped him when it looked like he wasn't going to. But then obviously he turned back into Peter Schmeichel yesterday. He made some great saves. Has Gary Shaw passed away? I don't know.
I will.
Heroically, you know what I mean, Stefan. Like, you've definitely seen it reported, like, oh, so-and-so heroically holds that. And it's like, they were down to 10 men for 15 seconds of the game. Like, the free kick was taken, he blew the whistle kind of thing. Vincent Company made look crap.
Yeah, he fell at his home. Passed away after a fall at his home.
Excuse me.
Age 63. That was earlier this week.
Former European Cup winner for Aston Villa. Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, because Villa have won the European Cup. Yeah.
Well, listen. All banter and football aside, when it comes to real life, whether they played for whoever, do you know, we're a football community, and that's what it is. Without each other's teams, it would be nothing.
That's true. Like as much as we have joy at Everton, I feel quite sad that Richo is sad. I'm lying.
Look, nobody likes to lose, and the fact that he's turned up here and he's turned up just as we're roasting his team,
he took it.
He took it, and it makes you think. Fair play to him, do you know, and it does make you think, are we being a bit tight on him? But then you've got to have that mwahaha lead side to you, whereas he'd now fuck this, he'd do the same.
Were they tight on us when they knew they were cheating?
Look, it's football. It is what it is. It's banter, and that's all it is banter. Just because I take the piss out of your team, it don't mean that you should want to be
personally.
Yeah, you should want to come around and kidnap my dog or whatever, do you know? And that goes to any criticism of players, right? The criticism should be discussed amongst us. It shouldn't be then transferred online to direct threats at a fucking football player, where you are that naive to think that he does not see that club as anything but an employer that's paying his wages.
That's true. Like, I hope the people out there, and I don't want to sound sanctimonious with this, but I hope the people out there that actually message Patrick Bamford's wife that they hope that she and their dog fall down the stairs actually have a good look at themselves to actually think of why they did that.
Yeah. It's like
it kicking a ball around.
You ask anybody here now, right? Leeds fans, Everton fans, Brownie Cardiff fans, right? If you was a professional footballer, you'd probably think that you'd be loyal to your club and you'd stay at Leeds or stay at Cardiff, stay at Everton for your full career, right? No matter who was waving what money in front of you, right? But in reality, you're on 20 grand a week at Leeds, right? And then somebody's offering you 120 grand a week. It's going to turn your head.
Of course it will, because you have a family, you have responsibilities that are above.
You have a short career, whether with no guarantees that you're going to be a coach or a pundit. No guarantees of that.
That's true.
So yeah,
but
let's not be naive.
Time getting on a bit, so
let's not be naive. Let's not be naive to players. Players, they're fortunate that they're good enough to play the game at that level, and therefore, when you become that level, it's not about being a supporter. It's not. It's about either wanting to win trophies or wanting to earn money, or to see how good you can be, or to play for international level, or whatever accolades you can get from the game. They're not fans.
So the last flashpoint of the game, in my opinion, other than a few saves from James Trafford, which were very good, do you think this is a penalty?
Yes and no, because
I can see why it wasn't given.
he wins the ball.
Yeah,
but
like
it
this
goes.
is the Leeds
It's
took
an
this
illegal
photo.
move because you're not allowed to tackle from behind. You're not allowed to go through the back
Yeah.
of a man to win the ball.
Yeah. Whether
It's a
you get the
penalty.
ball or not is irrelevant.
It's a foul on the halfway line.
Yeah.
So therefore, it's a foul in the area to me. But
I'm not saying it like we were robbed, but like I can understand why it wasn't given. But like as Ben just said, if it's on the halfway line, it's a foul and no one blinks twice. In
where
fact, you
Leeds
think
were
he's a bit of
robbed
an idiot
yesterday,
going
right,
in
by
from
the
behind.
referee was not here, right? Leeds were robbed by the referee's inability, right, to understand what the fuck advantage is and when to play it and when not to play it. 3 occasions, right? One where we got given advantage and we should have just took the free kick. And then there was another occasion where he gave the free kick and we should have been given the advantage. The referee killed our attacking play that way.
We had so much momentum, like not
Yeah,
Firpo,
yeah.
Nonto would be like he would have got that. He had the 10 yards of space that he needed to actually do some damage, and then the ref would go, "No, let's pull play back." You could actually see the frustration on his face.
Yeah, yeah.
But admittedly, he's always got frustration on his face.
For me, the 2 linesmen were the worst 2 linesmen we'd had all season and all last season. Both of them absolute incompetent, fucking clueless, blind cunt. Useless.
I mean, I'm very angry that wasn't a penalty, but obviously rationally, I'm like, well, he did get the ball. It looks like from that angle, it looks like he got the ball.
You can see why it wasn't given, but you take the letter of the law. It's an illegal challenge through the back of somebody. But that wasn't what pissed me off with the referee. Wasn't the penalty? It was the advantage and the way he was just killing the flow of the game into Burnley's advantage.
So we get into that. So obviously James Bell was the referee, and is it fair, Ben? You're not a fan of his performance?
No, I give him a 3 out of 10.
3 out of 10. So I didn't realise we've been talking for so long.
The reason he got a 3 was because he booked the Burnley player for trying to steal 40 yards on a throw-in.
And then he tried it again.
Yeah. He inevitably still stole 20 yards, but at least it was in his own half eventually when he took the throw in, even though it was by the corner flag where he won it.
So that takes us to half time at 1-0. And don't worry, because I know I could hear you all groaning like, oh my God, we've got a whole second half of this. No, we haven't. Nothing happened. So it finished 1-0.
There you go, 1-0 full time.
That's it.
Congratulations, Burnley. We'll see you again soon. And it's a long season, we hope.
Yeah. Or to quote my man from the show, "Come dine with me. Congratulations, Burnley. You have all the decorum and grace of a runaway dump truck. Take your winnings and get out of my house."
Look, the advantage we've got over last season after 5 games is we're not out of touch. We might be 9th in the league, but it's 4 points off top.
We've got more points than we had at this stage last year.
Yeah.
So hence why I'm really not hitting the panic button.
Look, it's not the panic button for the...
No, I get that.
I'm just getting sick of watching this shit. And I'm not even going back to we've been spoilt with Bielsa, right? Do you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of like Howard Wilkinson's like wilderness years before we got rid of him. And it just, and I know he lost some key players and whatnot, but it's like there's no plan. It's just, is it Leeds lately? He breaks down the tactical side of things before a game and whatnot, but that to me is bollocks because we don't have any fucking tactical plan.
I got that Everton one right though, Nick.
Do you see a tactical plan?
Well, I do, but it depends on very specific things happening. And there's nothing if those things don't. If we don't go in front, there's no plan. If we do go in front, then the plan hits effect, as in we now starve the game, we starve the other team, we hold the possession, we make our subs very specifically in the 88th minute, we make one more sub in the 93rd minute, and that's the game. But other than that, there's no plan. But you'll find that plan will get us through enough games.
Yeah.
Enough to get promoted? I don't know. Enough to not be relegated? Almost certainly. Which is kind of a worry, considering we are the last team to lose a playoff final and then get relegated. We're the only team to lose a playoff final and then get relegated, which was a genuine worry. But when players start getting sold, it's like how many players are getting sold? If you get what I mean. But anyway,
the insurance there is we don't have Ken Bates in charge.
That's true. Oh no, if things really went bad, like in this side of the transfer window, I know they would hand over some money to try and avoid that. But again,
I'm very sure in the fact that the 49ers know that the only way that they can make money for themselves and their investors, right, is to make us more valuable and to sell us on.
it's funny you say that, Nick. I liked having us in the Prem too.
So the only way we become more valuable to them is promotion.
Yeah.
So while we're in this division, I'm quite sure that up until they get to the point where they just have to either cut the money and run or take a small profit or walk away even, they're going to throw everything at trying to get us out of this league. And for me, they've got this season and then next season, and that's it. Then you need a Bielsa miracle.
Yeah. We need a wild swing to go right for us.
We just need to make a go of it, right? And use the tools we've got and attack this league.
As you can see here, by the numbers, we did everything to win this game. But
Why
the
don't
most
we
important
press?
number, we didn't.
Why don't we press? Because when we do press, it works.
We pressed in the first 40 seconds of the match and made a chance that we should have scored. And then they stopped doing it. But shit happens.
And is that the players or is it a tactical thing? It's got to be a tactical thing.
It's hard to tell because I don't think we've had enough of a pattern of games with.
You can't have 11 players fall off like all. You know, if it's it's not a tactical thing, right? And then we started with the press, then you're going to get 9 out of the 11 or 8 out of the 11 is still going to be pressing. It's just going to be 1, 2, or 3 that aren't pressing. But this is the full team that stops pressing. So it's got to be a tactical thing.
I don't know how to answer that because also I don't.
And the tempo, is that a tactical thing?
I do have one stat for you, I don't think much happens that isn't by his divine design.
No, I don't either.
Same.
Which is why I'm hanging him out to try and knock players.
For any of you Formula One fans out there, random statistic: did you know Max Verstappen has not won a race since he was pictured with the Leeds United shirt?
Which absolutely thrills me because I can't stand that fish-lipped bastard. He was given a title when he didn't deserve it. I'm sorry, but he's only ever won 3 and Lewis has won 8.
Genuinely true, BX. The man's not won a race since he touched the Leeds shirt.
He's the only reason I don't like Red Bull sponsoring Leeds.
Did you know there's a new TV show coming out soon called Will and James?
Look at size difference.
Fucking hell.
Mental.
Jesus Christ. I mean, I don't know what it'd be about. Presumably a comedy about a little Welsh footballer from England.
Imagine him playing him.
And one more. The last time Leeds United scored a corner in the Championship was against Swansea. we've taken 147 corners and we've had 52 shots from those corners, no goals. That's a big problem. Why does Rodon go up for these corners when the ball always finds him and he can't do anything with it?
Why can't we just win an header off a fucking corner and put it in? It's statistics, right? Is it something like 160 corners? Statistics say that one's got to go in, surely.
Yeah, it needs Ward-Prowse. Love Burnley, always will. We've punched above our weight for us. You have done that, to be fair to you. McLaren.
What do you, Colin, what do you think of Scott Parker? Because
I find something pretentious about him.
Do you know what I don't like about Scott Parker? I think he's fucking way too old for his haircut. It's the worst haircut in football.
At least he didn't turn up at Ellen Road in a cardigan. Give him that.
What about him gives me the creeps.
I suppose, you know what? It's a good time to go through the rest of the championship scores, because obviously time is getting on. And I'll happily sit here for hours doing this, but, you know, I'm sure you all have beds to go to on Sunday night. Obviously, didn't go amazingly well for Cardiff, unfortunately, for you, Brownie. Where are they on here?
It's one fucked up league, innit?
Yeah.
It really is, innit?
Obviously, next week, we're not on TV. We are on 3 o'clock in England. So that's handy because I won't have to see it.
TV. We'll be on my TV.
We'll be on Ben's TV because £60 a year.
I don't live in England, and I can.
What country don't you live in?
I have a. My country's initials are VPN. If that's a clue for you.
He only comes out on Friday nights, Nick. He likes to give the news of the bets. Otherwise,
he's a Stoop regular. The Stoop pays wages.
That's true. That's true. Good to see you in all seriousness. Wanker of the week, Pol Pot. Oh, you know what? You fancy a joint watch along? I have no idea. Don't want to commit to it right now, but because obviously you know I do the show with Gary, so discussions need to be had there, I suppose. But anyway, so yeah, that let's do the table. Close your eyes, Brownie, because this isn't specifically designed to upset. I mean, to be fair, you have more points than Everton. Sorry, Richo. I'm not sorry.
And to be fair, if Preston lose and you win 4-0, you're above them.
Yeah.
But I don't want you to win 4-0.
They'll put in the effort of like prime Real Madrid, I suspect. It's 3 o'clock in the UK. It's definitely not on TV in England. Because I don't think we've won a kickoff. We've won a Saturday early kickoff since like February. You'd definitely win if you had Warnock. Because the only team he hasn't been any good with is us.
Is that Neil or Steve?
Nothing he means Neil. Stephen's not a fan of us, so turns up on Sky Sports News in his glasses. Oxford doing swimmingly. In fact, I should feel embarrassed that we're below them, but I don't. It's just game 5. Who gives a shit? You know what? This is our predictions for the.
I'm changing it all.
Actual's done really well as usual. So yeah. So people can keep an eye on our fortunes as we progress through the month before we hit another international break. I think we've got 4 games left for an international break. And before we do some other stuff, you know what, Ben? We're going to do the Wanker of the Week. Ben, who is the Wanker of the Week this week?
That twat.
I tried to get the photo of him looking his seediest, and it was
Oh,
just
he's
his
wanking,
unveiling
yeah.
as Leeds manager.
Wanking, wanker. Look, agree with me or disagree with me. You're entitled to your opinion. I'm done with his football and his fucking shit substitutions and the timings of them, and just sick of being sat at home thinking I could do a better job.
Brownie, what were you doing on their books? Like, was you employed as a footballer?
No, he was in charge of their library.
I could believe that. I was watching Millwall hooligan, saw more class from a Haitian gang leader. You know what we'll do? It's a very light one. It's a very light one this week because obviously it's really quiet. There's not much from Don Goodman this week. The dipshits.
The dipshits.
Yeah. 100% Leeds United are still my favourites for the title. Don Goodman. Leeds Press. Don Goodman praising Leeds. What's next? Andy Hinchcliffe going a whole commentary without moaning once. It's like the kiss of death, that. Wanker of the week for being ex-Norwich. Brownie was a water boy. 14-year-old boy in the youth books for 12 months before they released me by realising that I was shite. How did you call them to even get in? I feel for you guys. We actually suffered under Moyes, so that was bad. Outside fans don't understand how bad it is. Yeah, it is. It's really awful when you're playing bad football in the Premier League and still surviving. My heart bleeds for you, sir. Heart bleeds for you. But in all seriousness, just saw that on Sky Sports News at the Den. That's a win already. They realised that he weren't commentating on the Leeds game. I can't remember who it was, but it wasn't Andy Hinchcliffe. He was commentating on the Millwall game. I think it was Millwall versus Luton, where a Millwall fan basically gave their opinion of Andy Hinchcliffe, where they basically called him a "see you next Tuesday" end of. So I could do his accent. Andy Hinchcliffe, cunt, end of. Anyway. France versus Belgium on Viaplay YouTube, and there's no commentary. Life is good without Andy Hinchcliffe and the rest of them yapping during the international break from Clips 1984. Paul Robinson doesn't rate Aronson as a 10 because he lacks defensive responsibilities. Absolute whopper of a bloke. Lord Ash then says, Paul Robinson and Andy Hinchcliffe needs to make a podcast together. I think it would be a match made in heaven. I would steer clear of that. Andy Hinchcliffe, this is about Newcastle's game, I believe, before the international break. Andy Hinchcliffe says he clips him, causing him to fall. Before then, the ball hits Isaac. Not a penalty for me. I've got the photo evidence. Not a penalty for Andy Hinchcliffe. Is the man a fucking idiot? Pardon my language, everyone. Sorry.
No, he's not an idiot. He's an absolute buffoon.
How's that not a penalty? Did he have a bet on Newcastle or something? Just outrageous. Outrageous. You should done it, Brownie. No, I can't take that away from Brownie, in all fairness. Following, I'll buy Leeds and appoint Ben as...
Thank you.
Am I going to be the water boy? I wouldn't mind that, actually. I'd have none of the scrutiny, to be fair. So, yeah, that's absolutely fine. Fucking cunt. Anyway, sorry, yeah. Before we go, sorry, I got one more thing. Obviously, this is Sky Sports tomorrow night, I imagine. Just actually fawning over Tom Brady. But then also, Sky Sports tomorrow night fawning over the other one. Oh, no, sorry, I meant Ryan Reynolds, not the other one. his compatriot in this endeavour. The other one from the show or whatever. Anyway, but I imagine, yeah. Rob McElhenney, Nenny, something like that. But I imagine that's the look on the face of whoever interviewed both of them. Like they're getting ready to fillet them. Like the admiration. Oh, Ryan and Tom Brady, not me. We have the same name, but I'm very different from Tom Brady. I'll tell you that right now. I was about to make a joke about Tom Brady and his wife, but that's going a bit far, isn't it? I mean, because that proved a lot. It proved you can win like the Super Bowl 7 times or whatever, and still not realise that your wife is having it off with the fitness, the Brazilian aerobics instructor. So it can happen to anyone. It can even happen. It can happen to you. It can happen to you. But obviously, it can't happen to Gary. Congratulations on 27 years, Gary. It's his anniversary yesterday. That's quite an innings. She done really well to put up with you, Gary, for that long. Incredible. I'd be upset if that wasn't partly true. Thank you very much. Thank you. I've never heard that before. That's a lie. But no, thank you. Means a lot. Need to see you at the turf. No, stay along just a little bit more. I promise I'm going. I promise I'm leaving. All right. But I promise. But you'll love this next bit, Colin. You'll absolutely love this. John, I think it might be time for our favourite segment. It's the part. It's Russ Morgan's favourite part of the show. Question of the week. Roll up. Call me Mr. Predictable. Here I am. Name these 11 players who have played for both Leeds United and Burnley.
Bailey Peacock Farrell.
Bingo.
Paul Hunter. Not Hunter. Why did I say Paul Hunter? Snooker player. Bless him. God bless his soul. Paul. Yeah, it's gone. He'll come back to PH. Clark Carlisle.
Bingo. Bingo.
A.D. Lewis?
No. You'll kick yourself.
Aaron Lennon?
Correct. I forgot. I remembered to put it up. Correct.
Jaden Anthony?
Correct. Ryan Flynn certainly played for both. Well, in the style of Quiz Mania, it might be true, but it's not on my list. Yeah, I mean, it is true. He played 120 games for Burnley, and he played 154 games for Leeds after he left Burnley and went to Leeds, and then he left Leeds and went back to Burnley, where he played another 82 games. I mean, that's true. But, I mean, Paul Robinson is also true.
Not Michael Ricketts.
That is Michael Ricketts. Sorry. Let me confirm. Correct. He probably did, but he's not on my list. No, you're right. Charlie Taylor is still in play. Well, he's not anymore because that was correct. Who is CR? Who is PH? Who is RB? Who is PB?
Patrick Bamford.
Correct. One of his 700 loans out from Chelsea. So you've got the forward line.
So RB, CR.
It's a bit dirty because RB played more of a striker. But his Wikipedia did imply that he could also play midfield. So I took that liberty. You're right, he was. But his Wikipedia said he was also a central midfielder or whatever. Correct. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant at this point. I thought I'd make it easier on John by not putting 4 people up front. That was it. I don't know whether that actually did, but still. Yeah, very good. You're right. I can't accept that, Brownie. I'm afraid.
Connor Roberts.
Connor Roberts. Let me check. Correct. Who is PH?
It's Paul.
Nope.
No. Phil.
No. I'll tell you when it's from. It's not recent. He played for Burnley in 1986 and on loan from Newcastle, and then he joined Leeds United in 1986, where he played 118 games between then and 1991.
Paul Hart.
Oh, his name's not.
Peter Hart. Peter Haddock.
Ding, 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 ding. Correct.
Yeah. Scooby got it as well there. Scoob.
Oh, my apologies, Scooby. It's not Paul Hart, although Paul Hart did play for Leeds. That is true. I don't know if he played for Burnley or not. It's relevant right now. Peter Haddock, yeah. I will also have accepted Paul Robinson from Neighbours. In fact, let's be fair to us. Correct. You win the quiz. What's the quiz? That's not a word. Hang on. I should have put that up as well. Oh. Director John's doing a thing we call in the YouTube business. He's fucking with me. John's laughing.
I remember Peter Haddock with his little tash. He got injured the year we came out. We had a left-back crisis in 1989-90.
And, I mean, I suppose that is it. That is it. There's not much left to do. I mean, in all truth, I've successfully completed a con where I've basically managed to waste at least 15 of your 2 hours of your Sunday night on this shit. So I'm the real winner. Sorry, what's that, mate?
I enjoyed it.
Oh, I loved it. I had great fun. There's a lot of people that could have been doing a million other important things. For example, fornicating with your wives.
And we appreciate you trying, Nick. And we appreciate you joining us as well. Thank you.
John has jobbed Tom at. That's it. I'm not elite. Yeah, I mean, we've all had moments where it was like, let's not do this. It was certainly something. But no, seriously. Again, Gary, congratulations on 27 years of convincing your wife.
I love you and your missus, Gary.
In all seriousness, did you enjoy your steakhouse? Did you get your $150 steak you were telling me about? I'm making Gary sound like ultra rich. It's not true.
Oh, he's a very humble man, isn't he, Gary? The only fault is he fucking supports Arsenal. I don't know why. It's not that I hate on Arsenal. It's just why.
He had to look at.
I asked my mum the same question. Well, why?
You should have seen the regret on his face. As soon as he mentioned that as a possibility, that was a stake that existed, I'm looking at him like, you ain't really going to spend £150 on a steak, are you? And he's like, yeah, that out loud, that actually sounds like something I should not do. Gary, please tell me you did not do that.
Well, look.
Even on your anniversary.
It's what it is. You're going to spend it on something, aren't you? Might as well enjoy it.
You can't take it with you, some people say. So, anyway, so director John, steak was good. 150 was too much. Excellent. I mean, don't get me wrong. For £150 steak, I'd expect to be able to live under it. Like shield yourself from the sun or something. Anyway, just before we get out of here, got enough kids? Thanks, Tom. Sorry, just suggestions, Jimmy. Just suggestion.
Right, I'm going to shoot anyway, Tom.
Yeah.
Hey up, John.
Hey, what's going on for next week?
Same old. What colour's that top you've got on, John?
What's that? Pink Floyd?
What colour's that top?
Don't forget to join us next week, where it's basically more of the same, depending on the result.
Hilarity?
Why do we get Brownie and
funny? I would not be opposed to that personally.
Brownie, you're welcome to join us next week if you want to join us.
Are we having the raffle next week for the $125 steak?
Yeah, why not?
Cool.
That's the first time hearing of it, but why not?
Why not?
150, I want the whole damn cow. As we usually say on this show, life is a journey. Don't waste a trip. No, Gary, I'm not stealing your stuff. I'm not stealing your line.
I love it.
No, seriously, we all love Director John. Thank you for anything that appears on this screen that is half decent. It was not made by me. It was probably made by him. He's a great man. Gives a lot of his time to. He's basically sat here during the whole show, and with just absolute talk nonsense. Like I thought it was happy Gilmore.
He's got out better to do.
He's a great man. He's a great man. Thank you all for your time. Pounds is heavier than dollars at the moment. That's factually true. If you wank off a ghost, what does it shoot at? I can't believe those words that left my mouth.
Can't believe those are words.
So that's a sentence. That is certainly a sentence. Answer from Jimmy. Ectogism. Because of course he'd know that. Thanks for the show, guys. Thank you, Brownie. Thank you for your time. But again, we could do this forever. Like I could be sat at midnight going, good night, Father John, good night, Jimmy, good night, Roy, or whatever. So we just got to end it, or it never end.
All right, we'll see you next week, everyone.
Have a good week. Take care.